thank you for coming back to Nate's Yearbook. This time we're doing a video podcast, which is interesting. So we're going to try it out and see what happens. You never know. It could be a mess or it could be good. So let me know what you think. But we're going to be talking about Yearbook once again. And this is kind of my pitch slideshow, as well as kind of a mood board. So a sense, just so you can kind of get a visual of what I'm thinking and what it look like and just kind of the general overview. Let's get started. So, a group of high school misfits are thrown into the dreaded yearbook class. They're to work together and complete it despite not liking each other and their teacher. I'm going to be about 2 seasons long, and I really don't want to milk this series kind of like what I talked about in my last episode, and it will be a dramedy. It's kind of the overview. I got some stakeholders, kind of the people who will have a stake in what will happen. So the actors, animators, the crew, those kind of people. But the people that the characters are based on is a big one. You know, if I display a character in this incorrectly or in a different way, it may make the person who it's based on in real life, you know, they might see it. Like, they may see this. And so it's something I have to consider, and it's something that I need to remember, because I don't want to come off in a bad way. I need to be, you know, careful, but at the same time, you know, it is a comedy and it is fiction, but it is based on true people. So I need to stay away from the true people and make sure I keep it fiction. And another stakeholder is the school. You know, I plan on filming it in a school, and if it does really well, the school could see, we'll know about it, and you know, they may get recognition. I think of a TV show like, or a series of movies like High School Musical. Like, those were all filmed in a school. So I think, you know, that it could always be something like that, where it's, you know, it's a tourist attraction to go see the school that it was filmed in, especially if it, you know, gets a wide audience. And so on the right side, I got some equipment, you know, Steadicam being the most notable, and lighting as well. Relighting the entire school for shooting will be a mess, and it'll be a lot of work to do, and, you know, to make sure that it's done correctly. Some of my target audience, you know, it would be about females in U.S. and Canada, at age 20 to 35, kind of the people who would binge shows on streaming. So kind of they need to have access to it, so I need to make sure I market towards those people who have access to it. And, you know, I want it to be a throwback. It needs to be a throwback and, you know, remind people of their time in high school, and that's where I need to draw people in. And so, yeah, that's very important. Set in the 2010s or maybe even the 90s, somewhere around there, anywhere in that time frame, I think would work really, really well, and would be a good reminder for those people. It'll be about a 9-day shoot. This is kind of what the timeline will look like. Animation will be working during the filming process, and so there are animated parts of this show, and so the animators will need to be working during the filming time. I have some set dates here. Obviously, those probably will change. I don't plan on filming this in this summer. I don't think that could happen. I definitely don't have I'm not prepared enough to do it, and so I want to do it right, and so when it's done right, it'll be done right. But the nice thing is I do allow for the weekend off. That's for 2 reasons. Just, you know, to make everybody happier. You know, you get Saturday, Sunday off. That's always nice. But also allow people to go to church if they want to go to church. I think it's important to go to church, and, you know, it'd be nice. It's just nice to have the weekends off. It doesn't hurt. Some similar shows. So kind of looking at some money here. The Office, I had an astounding $500,000 per episode. Like, that's insane. You know, I don't know what the return on investment on any of these are, just because it's hard to find the advertising revenue from them. But I can only assume The Office is just huge. And then another show like How I Met Your Mother at $2 million per episode, you know, it's just crazy. And so for my show, it'll be about 1.9 million for the grand total per episode, which is totally doable and around the average for shows right about now. So it's totally doable to do the 1.9 million. With contingency at 50%, it'd be 255,000 roughly for that guy there. Some cost recovery ideas, you know, t-shirts, DVDs with the collector's edition, advertisements, partnerships with products would be a cool one, as well as paid streaming. You know, people paying to see it would be another way to do it. And one interesting one is the yearbook with the cast in it, so it's kind of like a yearbook of the entire shoot process and of the entire filming, and so it's got pictures, behind the scenes, interviews, that kind of thing. it would just be another way to boost revenue. The release plan on television, Netflix and Hulu, like I discussed, and in the U.S. and Canada. It could eventually go overseas, but I don't know what I'd have to cut out and what I'd have to edit, but primarily U.S. and Canada is the target market. And marketing would be themed like it's a yearbook. So now to the fun stuff for Grover Academy. This is what their logos would look like. They're the Grover Grizzlies, so be the big G and then the Grizzly there on the side. So kind of the look of the film would be filmed in the school over the summer, and making sure extras are maintaining continuity is important. I want to use improv pretty heavily. I'm paying actors to play these characters, and if I write something and they don't think that character would say it, if they say it in a different way and it's better and it works and it flows far superior to what I wrote, fantastic. I want improv used pretty heavily, and it's important. Set dressing is another one. Making sure the sets look right, making sure each thing is done correctly. And another one is, if we make a mess, cleaning it. It is a high school, and we'd always want to be invited back. If we're doing a second season, we want to be invited back. So it's important to, be kind, understanding, and work with the school to make sure we do it right, because we want to be invited back. We want to have a good name attached to us, and we want to give them a good name. Two things for actors, though: unknown actors for the students and big name actors for the teachers. Those big name actors are going to help push the story forward and driving the story to just keep it moving. Whereas the unknown actors, the lesser known actors, I should say, those guys will help push the story forward, but it'll make sure that it could give them a jumping off point. That's a big part of this show. This is an example of what Grover Academy could look like. This is Harlan High School in Texas. It's just huge. I just want a big high school for those wide establishing shots. It's just an example of what it looks like. This is the lunchroom. This is where that one take is going to be, and so I'm going to need a ton of room to do it. So a big, wide, high ceilings, just the ability to do stuff with it is important. So just a large cafeteria. Principal Harper's office, sports memorabilia, as well as there's knives in there and stuff like that. Just different manly items, but kind of that classic principal office look. This is a math classroom. This is actually a chemistry classroom, but kind of the feel, the color, the lighting, the desks, kind of just the placement of everything is kind of what I'm looking for. I think it'd be a really, really nice touch for the film. This is one of the hallways I would like to use. I would do green lockers instead of blue if I could, just because it would be easier and it would go much better with the storyline. So I say easier, but it would be a lot of work to take them out and put new ones in or paint them completely. But I think it would look way better if it was green lockers, because Grover is green, and so it just adds to the effect of this is a school that has pride, even though they don't at all. So it's kind of a contrast. This is Walker's classroom. You can see on the right here just a mess of a classroom. On the left, another kind of classroom, kind of what I'm looking at. Somewhere around, something in between these two, kind of big and open and, wide. Now for some classic stuff. This is Mike Walker, kind of what I'm looking like for him to be wearing. Just a messy art apron and some glasses. Mike Walker, I could easily see Zach Braff playing this character. I don't know why. When I think of Walker, I think of him. I just could see him playing it. I think it'd be very funny. Neil Patrick Harris, I could see just kind of that comedy that he's got, but also kind of nerdy-ish in a way. Nick Adams, this is something he would wear. One thing I want to focus on for this is the hoodie. It says senior, but looks like senior. And so we actually had a hoodie at my high school that was similar to this, but it looked like senior, but it said senior. And so it was very funny, and it was just a joke that we all had. And so we called them the senior shirts. And but I want it to be a hoodie. So kind of just playing it, and, a nice callback to my high school days. And these are some examples of some characters or some actors I could see playing it. Josh Wetzel, I could easily see him playing it. I don't know if he's been in anything whatsoever, But that's what I like, and that's what I need. And so, same with James. I could see him playing it. Josh, literally, he's dressed in some other pictures like I would dress Nick. So I just could see him playing it immediately. Justin Potter, friend of Nick, big ego, military meathead. So he's got the army backpack and just kind of the cargo pants and just kind of that look, really selling it. Bryson, the energy of Bryson here, I could easily see him playing this character. Just he's got a fun vibe, and he's got to be kind of quirky and nerdy and just up energy is what I'm looking for. This is how Jaden Berry would dress. Kind of a basic, I say basic, but just kind of a like stereotypical girl. I don't know how to put it, but just very stereotypical. And just any girl with a resting bitch face, like honestly. Any of these girls, Alyssa, Caitlin, or Avery, I could easily see them playing this character. But obviously I'm not picky in what they look like whatsoever, but just kind of that bitchy look. Principal Harper, I want to make sure he's wearing a suit, and I want to make sure it's a black tie, looking professional, because he is logical, but I need him to be big and strong, and you'll see what I mean. A person like John Goodman, he's the first person that went to my head. Obviously, he's been in multiple TV shows, so bringing him back for another show like this, I don't think he would take it. Just because he's been in Community, and he's been in other shows, I really just don't see him doing it. But someone like that, who's kind of got this big power amongst them, that could really play this character well, I think it would be very, very funny. And it would be good. He would play that character very, very well. Sam Hayden, this is kind of what Sam would dress like, kind of basic schoolgirl vibes, and obviously dress in the classic green backpack. I think it would just make her stand out amongst the rest of the people in the universe. This is what Sam would look like. I could see any of these girls playing it. Any of them could play it. I'm not too picky once again on what they look like. I care more about how they talk and how they act. Ryan Montez IV, the friend of Nick. Again, kind of almost a military meathead, but kind of got that awkward energy about him. So kind of dressing him in that odd way. I think the hoodie, like camo hoodie, would be very, very funny. I don't know. I thought he would look really good in that. This is Ryan Montez IV. I could see any of these guys playing it. Noah, I could see playing it, especially Christopher. He'd have to cut his hair, but I could easily see Christopher playing it and really, really making this character his own. Mandy Hume. This is the Yearbook representative. Kind of looking like a professional businesswoman. I think she would. She just needs to look powerful and just needs to have huge heels and be really tall and just kind of overpowering in an odd way. And so these are some examples I have. This character needs to have a southern accent. And so I know all these girls can do a southern accent. I've seen them do it in films. Maggie Lawson is like my number one pick for this. She was in a hit TV show, Psych, on Netflix. And so I think she could easily play this character very well. She is shorter, so she's kind of got to wear big heels, but you can always fake it in filming. But I think she could really play that character really well and once again make it her own. David, Nick's friend, got kind of a nerdy guy. The glasses, the khakis, and the backpack, just really bring it all together. This is David. I can see any of these guys totally playing this character and just really making it their own. But that is all I've got. Will I see your name in the yearbook? I really appreciate this series. We'll see. My goal is to try to make it by 2030. I don't know how likely that is, but that is my personal goal. At least make the pilot on my own. I think it'd be awesome, and it is doable to do on a budget. It may take a ton of time, but I could do it on a budget, and I think it'd be very interesting. But thank you so much for listening. I'll see you around.